Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about HCF and LCM, highest common factor and lowest common multiple for numbers. Okay, let's check the questions and how to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple for any values. Now, sometimes you'll have questions like these. You'll have numbers and they will ask you to find the highest common factor or lowest common multiple. Sometimes it's going to be about algebra. You'll have letters to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple between them. First, let's answer a question that has numbers. Let's talk about this first. To find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of two numbers, you have to break down the numbers to their prime factors. So basically, we're going to find the prime factor decomposition and then use Venn diagram to find the HCF and LCM for these two numbers. So first, let's break down the numbers. The 20, let's break it down. So basically, we divide it by the first prime number. So 20 divide 2. Let's write it here. Let's put them here so we can take them in common. So 20 divide 2 will be 10. And then 10 divide 2, it will be 5. And then 5, we divide it by 5. And we will get 1. Once you reach 1, you can stop. And then that's the first part. So breaking down the 20 into its prime factor composition. Now we have them on this side. Now we're going to do the same for the 35. Break down the 35 to its prime factor composition. So let's do it on this side so we can have them next to each other, okay? So 35, you divide it by 5, you'll have 7. And the 7 is a prime number, so you divide by 7. It's going to be 1. And when you reach 1, you'd stop. And that's the idea of breaking down numbers into their prime factors or prime factor decomposition. Now we have two groups of prime factors. Now we're going to use Venn diagram to find the HCF and LCM. Basically, we put two circles, and these two circles must be going inside of each other like this. Now, the first circle will be for the 20. So this one is for the 20. And the second circle is for the 35. That's for the 35. Now, let's fill the gaps. First, let's see what's common between the two prime factor compositions. So the 5 is common. It means I have to put 1 5 in the middle. So 1 5 should be in the middle, like this. Nothing else is in common. Now I look at this group. I left two twos, so I'm going to put 2 here and 2 here. And here I left a 7, so I'm going to put the 7 over here. Now, how do you find HCF and LCM from Venn diagram? HCF means you come to the ones in the middle, the common ones. You multiply them by each other. If you have many numbers, you just multiply them by each other. If you have one number, it means it's the HCF. So the highest common factor will equal 5 because I have no other numbers. I just write 5. If I have other numbers, I just multiply them by each other to get the highest common factor. Now, the LCM from Venn diagram, you just take all the numbers here and multiply them by each other. So you multiply 2 by 2, 2 times 2, and then times 5, and then times 7, which is 140. So the LCM will be 140. And this is how you answer a question like this. So the HCF, you multiply the ones in the middle, and the LCM, you multiply everything you have in Venn diagram. Now let's move on to the next question. Now let's move on to the next part of the lesson here. We have finding the HCF and LCM for values like this. For example, we have this value here, 7. Let's do it. This one has the same idea. You can use Venn diagram to find HCF and LCM for these values. Let's cover this. Okay. Same idea. Break them down, Venn diagram, find the common ones, multiply them to get HCF and LCM. So first, we're going to break down each element. So we're going to break down this first. So this one will become 3 times 2, and then x squared means x times x, and y means y, sorry, Y, and Z. Okay. So these are the prime factors for this element. Now this one, we have 9, so it's 3 times 3. We have 1x, so x, and then 2 y's, y, and z, z. Now, basically, what do? We find the common ones, so we can put them inside Venn diagram in the middle. So we have a 3 and an x and a y and a z. Now, let's draw a Venn diagram like this. Venn diagram will it will help you to find the answer more easier than thinking. You don't have to think about it. You just have to fill the gaps and find the answer. So let's say that this, or the first part here is for the first element, and the second part is for the second element, okay? Now, yes, second element. Yes, let's move it so we can understand. Now, we're going to fill the gaps. First, what's common? We have a 3, x, y, z. So we write it like this. 3, x, y, z. Focus on the questions because this question is similar to something else in which they will ask you to factorize. So factorizing is different, not different, it's the same idea, but the answer will not be the same, not the same as HCF LCM, okay? So here, as we said, we just write the ones in common. Let's make them smaller so we can see. Now, what did we leave in the first group? We left 2 and x. So we write them here, 2 and x. I don't know if you can see them. Let's make it bigger. And then the last group here, what did we leave? We left 3, y, and z. So we write it like this, 3, y, z. Now, after finishing the Venn diagram, now I can find the HCF LCM. First, I'll write HCF here and LCM. So basically, HCF means what? It means multiplying the ones in the middle. Multiplying the ones in the middle. So HCF will be what? 3x, y, z. This one is HCF. And the LCM means multiplying everything together. Multiplying everything together. So let's multiply everything together. First, we start with the numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. So I write 18 first here. And then I come to the letters, I multiply them by each other. X times x is x squared. And then, so x squared. And then we have y squared and z squared. So x, y, z squared, okay? Let me give some space here so I can put the powers. So x is squared, okay? The y is squared and the z is squared, like this. And it's the idea of finding the HCF and the LCM, okay? So basically, you find, let's put some space here. Yes. So basically, you break them down, as we said, and then you fill the gaps in Venn diagram. What's common, you put it in the middle, X, Y, Z. The ones in the middle, the common ones, you multiply them to get HCF. And then what's left, 2x, you put them here, 3 y, z, you put them here. You multiply all of them together to get the LCM, and this is how you answer a question like this. That's it for HCF LCM. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.